All rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Alvarez.
Here.
Councilman Cullen.
Here.
Councilwoman Eckhart. Here. Councilwoman Hudak.
Here.
Supervisor Hay.
Here. Notations of the exits in the front and the rear, and the electronic device, please put it on vibrate. I make a motion to come out of the executive session. No action was taken.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I make a motion to open the public hearing for Brewster Ford.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Jamie, the mic does come off, so you can.
Good evening. My name is Jamie Lujudis from Insight Engineering, Surveying and Landscape Architecture. I'm here on behalf of the Brewster Ford project. The project is located at 1024 Route 22 on the corner of Argonne Road. The project, we're here tonight for a special permit review for a motor vehicle dealership.
Water table?
Motor vehicle dealership?
Motor
I
vehicle.
thought you said water table.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
It's
No water
close.
table.
Water vehicle,
I got
water
a cold, I
table.
got stuffed up ears, can't talk.
I apologize. The project consists of several additions onto the existing Brewster Ford facility, which include a front portion, which includes a front addition in this area here, which is 2 stories, where customers can drop their cars off and pull into the building itself. There's an addition to the service bay in the back of the building, and there's an addition on the Argonne Road side for storage. The project also consists of additional landscaping within the median area between the 2 parking areas, also landscaping along Route 22. Guide rail will also be installed to basically further the deterrent of encroaching past their existing parking areas. A use and occupancy permit from the DOT is required for that, and we are looking to amend the current one that they do have, so that'll be submitted shortly. There are several variances associated with this property, with this project, which deal with building coverage. The lot size is a pre-existing nonconformance because of the change in the zoning from the NB1 to the NB, which now allows the motor vehicle dealership. There is the pre-existing nonconformance of the 1.8 acres of the existing site now. You need 15 acres. Obviously, we don't meet that. The other variances are for lot coverage. We are getting slightly larger with the lot coverage. With that, open space is getting slightly lower. And outdoor storage, which previously was not accounted for or required to be accounted for with the previous NB1 zone, that we are requiring a variance for because you're over the 5% that you're allowed. There are several variances for the front and side yard setbacks for parking that we're requesting, which include the front of the property along 22, along 22, and then also along the High Bridge Plaza here. As everyone is aware, I hope, there is an existing retaining wall right next to the property. If you look at these photos, there's this retaining wall here. You're looking from the High Bridge Plaza parking lot. There is an existing chain link fence that hides the vehicles fairly well. So we are asking for the variance for that.
When is the variances, when do you go for the variances?
We are before the zoning board now. We are reconvening on April 18th for determinations on those variances.
Okay.
I believe the only reason they couldn't act on it at the previous meeting is because we were waiting for the Putnam County Planning Department to come back with their review. I believe you're in receipt of a letter from the Harvest Plumbing neighbors. We have included on site plans that we've revised and given to you tonight a solid wooden stockade fence along their property line here at their request. Basically, it's to amend, essentially, there's areas along their property where, let's say, an overzealous employee decided to remove a lot of vegetation and regrade. There was a stop work order for such action. We were before the planning board for that, and including it within the site plan. So that's why we revised the plans tonight to give you the wooden stockade fence along their border. Has
the issue of the septic been resolved?
The septic, to the best of my knowledge, has been repaired. It was located on Brewster Ford's property, so it was relocated, and I believe working okay. Yes.
Okay.
So I believe that is
We
it.
also had a letter from Highbridge Plaza. You're aware of that as
Yes.
drainage, and that's going to be resolved during this process as well?
Yes, it will. We've been in contact with the DOT regarding drainage improvements along that entrance. Basically, there's a drainage pipe that discharges going down into the right-of-way for Route 22, and due to lack of maintenance within the DOT right-of-way, the catch basin was not receiving that water, and then with freeze and thaw, water was freezing and going onto the entrance at Highbridge Plaza. So we're currently working with the DOT to get a highway work permit to get that issue resolved.
Now, recently, probably, I guess late last year, they tried to resolve their problem with drainage of the water coming down, where in front of Brewster Ford, they made that blacktopped, I don't know what you want to call it. It's not very well. Is that going to be redone by them when you redo your property, or are they leaving it
No.
like that?
Unfortunately, that is the DOT property and not Brewster Ford's.
Well, I know, but any mention, I mean, they're going to come and resolve an issue down by Highbridge Plaza. I'm just wondering if they're going to
At
resolve their
Brewster
own
Ford's
problem.
expense. Brewster Ford is actually doing that work. Unfortunately,
So I guess they're
they're
not going
not-
to work on the other part.
no,
Okay. Next big storm, it's going to be gone again, but that's their problem.
probably.
Anyone from the public have any comment? Yes, sir. Come up to the mic. You have to state your name for the record, please.
Your name. You can't hear that.
Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't hear whatever you were saying. John Lapino, Harvest Plumbing. I got the building right on the side of her. She hit my septic tank and stuff. The only issue I have now is that, you know, he took all my shrubs out. And these shrubs were at least, 4 or 5 foot high, were all prickers. And that was like a safety thing for me for theft. Nobody could ever get through, it was so thick, through that without, they couldn't make it. They'd be all ripped apart. Now that they're gone, I have a theft issue that I see. And she just said to me that they're gonna put a fence there, but only a 6 foot high fence. And I'm saying, anybody could jump over a 6 foot high fence.
I couldn't, or Bob, but maybe you could.
Somebody,
I'll speak for you and I.
somebody that's stealing something will jump over that fence very easily. And I was just thinking maybe an 8 foot fence would be more.
Well, that-
Need a variance.
Yeah.
Need a variance.
What was that?
It's too high a fence. It's not,
It would need a variance.
It's not permitted by the town.
Oh, okay, so what do they have to do?
6 would
Oh, you
be,
can't use the 6?
yeah, 6 is, yeah.
That's it,
6
that's it?
Yeah.
Oh.
They'd have to go for a variance otherwise. But Jamie, if a person wants some pricker bushes back, why don't you just plant a
no,
couple?
no, they're invasives, we don't want them.
The thing is,
Sorry, if it's Barbary, was it Barbary, do you know, Jean?
I think that they were roses.
Oh, okay, well, those,
wild roses.
there was
Those
a
are
pricker-
invasive.
You can't have those?
those are invasive
They
too.
were like a blueberry.
Oh, then that's
But
probably
those were at least-
Barbary.
you're talking, I've been there over 15 years, and they were thick, if you put new bushes around, they're gonna be, just these little things that I gotta wait till they grow,
Right.
or, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, security cameras would probably be good too. I see Brewster Ford
Because
has
he
some
built
in the
them out.
back here.
He should have
So-
got a survey, I think, first of all, before he even had the excavator there.
Not knowing, I mean, on the site plan previous or whatever, does it identify whose property line those bushes were on? Were they on Brewster Ford's or were they on that gentleman's? Do you have any idea?
It was the area right in through here. So on our grading plan, you can see in through here, basically they have done work all along through here. There was a majority of the shrubs that were on the Harvest Plumbing property that were along this area. But I don't know of any pricker bushes that would not be invasive to be able to plant there.
Well, take a couple shoots off and replant them, then they can't say anything about
It's the DEC, by the way, that's banned the sale of, so it's not
it.
just.
Well,
a
but they're
state of-
still there though, he said.
Yeah, no, then that's fine. They'll probably, if there's some left, they're gonna regenerate in no
No, no,
time.
no, not on this
Oh,
side. Not
okay.
over here, they're not.
Okay,
This area here, there's none.
okay,
This area, they have some left, because they didn't touch that side.
okay.
They didn't do anything with that side. You know, he was, the day I saw it, I opened my doors, and there's a machine sitting on my property with all the vegetation done. And I, what the hell happened here? I didn't even
Jamie,
know they
can you
liked it.
possibly maybe go offline and see if there's anything that can be planted there to try to satisfy their concerns?
Yeah.
What's that?
He was
That's all right.
if we could go offline and communicate about.
Yeah, we could, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if you could just repeat briefly, the gentleman from Hybrids Plaza is here. Can you just briefly repeat what you said earlier about the drainage with the DOT?
Yes, yes, I can. We've been in contact with the DOT about the different drainage issues that are going on in that area. There is the pipe that is discharging and running down the hill, and due to the freeze thaws, it's just not making it into that catch basin. I believe there was a maintenance issue regarding that particular catch basin where the DOT had not cleaned out that area and water just has been dumping onto your entrance. We've met with the DOT on site. We are working with them to procure a highway work permit so that we can get that issue resolved.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else for comment?
Me,
Did you raise your hand?
no.
Okay.
I'm waiting to see if the public wants to speak first. A few quick questions. Parking is still, for employees, is going to be at the full Shetty office still?
It is, yes.
And how long an agreement is that? Do you know?
How long?
Don't they have a written agreement, or is
They do
there-
have a written agreement, yes.
Yeah. Do you know the term, like how,
I don't know if there's
Okay.
an end date at this moment. I think
Okay.
it's just an outstanding.
okay. So all violations now seem to be cleaned up and the neighboring properties are relatively happy? except for-
We're working with them on them,
Okay,
yes,
good.
currently.
Because I'm sure you can find some kind of shrub that would satisfy Harvest Plumbing and be more of an asset, and that would be great, so, that's it for me.
That's it?
But the notes, maybe I'm just whatever, the note says, note 4, employee parking shall be designated and provided on-site and shall not be used for vehicle storage, repair, or finishing work, display, or customer parking. That's what it says on the note.
And that really needs to be changed.
Which note were you looking?
4.
Number 4.
4.
We had added a different note to a different area, apparently. Sorry about that. If you look in the general notes, number 6, we can amend the special permit note. I believe that is the
I
particular.
mean, I just wanted to point it out.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think that is the notes that are in the special permit in the code, and that's why they were included.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
They refer to general note number 5,
right,
I think it is.
because I did have concerns just because of how busy the road is getting up
Sure.
there from that office. It's not an easy hike, so,
It's not.
I mean, it's not bad.
I believe they have a shuttle that
They
they
do.
pick up their employees.
That's what I,
They do.
So, but it, I mean, after a certain hour, there's only a few, but they do run a
Right.
shuttle for the employees for safety. Anyone else from the public or the board?
can I just ask you really quickly on the, is this, I assume, because the plants look blue, but that this photo, I mean, it would be this is not really accurate of what the landscaping's going to be like, or is it?
Oh, come on.
Okay. I just wanted to know. There's lots of little things, that's all.
I took some artistic license with
Okay,
the with the
Yeah.
landscaping.
Yes, they do look a little weird the way they're planted, but we
Yes.
commented how well the overlay was without the plants, though.
Yeah, so, all right.
You can tell you're a florist.
No, well,
They will not be as blue.
anyhow, okay, thank you.
Okay. Anyone else from the public? Seeing none, I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you, Jamie.
Thank you very much.
That should be on our next scheduled meeting, which today is the, what, 7? So the 21st of April.
Thank you very much.
Okay, make a motion to go into the work session portion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next is the BOE land development. This is the map for this section.
I see, you want to switch seats with me? You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I've gone over it.
Evening.
Good evening. Chris Sobieski, BOS Land Development. The project is 2 Palmer Road, Brewster, New York.
Is that going to be the official address?
I believe so.
Okay.
We're seeking an access easement for Palmer Road for an entrance drive into our property.
Why don't you just, the public, I'm aware, the board's pretty much aware, but the public is not aware. So basically, why don't you explain that it's the 2 Palmer Road, I think the highway, actual driveway is 10 Palmer Road. You need,
Palmer Road is located over here. Town garage is adjacent to our property. We're looking for an access easement over Palmer Road into our property. It will be a 16,000 square foot footprint, 4 stories, building with approximately 180 plus parking spaces. 30, I believe 34, 37 parking spaces are underneath the building.
okay, just so the public knows, there's a single drive, 10 Palmer Road, which is the highway garage. They are seeking permission from the DEP, I believe. Have you sought that permission yet? Have you made application?
We are in contact with the DEP. And
So the town of Southeast has access over DEP property to use our facility. And they're basically looking to the DEP to piggyback on that permit. So they're in the process of applying to the DEP to piggyback and use our access as their access. Correct?
correct.
Okay.
Yes.
And the building's actually gonna be in the Village of Brewster.
The building will be in the Village of Brewster. correct.
Yeah, so people know this was the property that was annexed from the town of Southeast into the village of Brewster. And I also think it might be important to maybe show on the map, Chris, where, because we have some, I think, trucks parked on the property now, or how's it gonna work? If you could
Just
show
along the
people.
property line.
Right.
Right here, the town has some trucks and plows, et cetera, stored in that area. We are granting a 15-foot easement for the town to continue to store their equipment in that area. We are going to erect a approximately 4-foot-high retaining wall so that our plantings and grading will be above that elevation. And we also have the planting plans, which I believe were submitted, and I have copies of them here if you'd like to see those.
Right.
But you have to, as far as the building, you're going to the Village of Brewster for,
The building is being reviewed by the Village of Brewster, correct?
so you filed already, just for the
We've
process?
begun filing and
Okay.
speaking with them.
I think what also is important here to understand the project is if Palmer Road isn't, if we don't, or the DEP doesn't allow access that way, it would be far more disruptive, in my opinion, but because you would have to go in through Allview, is that right, or how would you?
The only other frontage we have is on Allview Avenue. There are steep grades, it is through a residential neighborhood. There's an old water line that runs up Allview Avenue, and the environmental impact would be tremendous. I mean, the steep grades that come in off of Allview to access the property would be extensive site work and stream crossing.
Now, this site at one point in time had, I guess, we're applying for condominiums on that site at some point in time?
At some point in time, it had been approved for condominium development, correct?
Okay.
It
And when
was
I,
zoned for it, I don't know if it was
I
ever
don't think it was
approved.
approved.
pardon?
It was zoned for it, I don't think it was ever approved for a condominium.
Well, not, it wasn't approved, but it was, I guess it was.
zoned, it was zoned.
It was zoned multifamily,
family.
and
Correct.
I was under the impression prior to our ownership that there was a site plan approval for developing condo.
I thought it was always problematic with septic, Will can correct me if I'm wrong, for septic for all of that and well, so but it could have been approved, I don't remember that, but.
It would have had to have preceded 1989, because it didn't get any approvals post 1989, which is when I started doing legal work for the town. I don't believe there was ever an approval for development there.
And you have, the town did receive some land, is that
The
available?
town had been seeking a portion of land in the rear of the property for stockpiling storage, so we did convey approximately 1 acre of space to the rear of the property.
Now, it has been pointed out, I believe by our town engineer, that it's quite wet back there, and I'm not sure of the acre, how much is actually gonna be usable.
Correct. I mean,
Right.
the original conveyance was a 1/4 acre because the 1/4 acre is fully usable. Then it was requested that if we were able to get more, would we? So, yes, we'll give you 1 acre. How and when they're going to use it is really up to the town.
Now, I first met these people from BOE back in 2012 when I first came in. Kevin Palmer, the then highway superintendent, said, geez, is there any chance we might be able to get the property next door? Of course, the town with absolutely no money was gonna ask our neighbors if they would be willing to sell the property. And that's when they told me that they had plans to do what they're coming forward now. And we've been, I guess, negotiating and discussing this now for quite some time. And there are some concerns by the current highway superintendent as well as us. I mean, it's quite peaceful down there in a sense, okay? And it's a highway garage, and the concern, of course, is you're gonna be putting up a beautiful building. I don't know what the estimated value of it, whether it's 4 million, 5 million, whatever. It's a lot more in value than our highway garage, which has, junk trucks and piles of sand and dirt. They're gonna be loading dirt, and dirt will be, going across whatever. You and your sister, right?
Correct.
Okay. Very nice people, but there's a concern if this ever gets sold or another buyer comes in and takes it, that the next person may not be as nice. Now, my concern only is, that there's traffic, there's gonna be an increase in traffic. He's mentioned 170, 180 spaces. It's a medical facility, possibly, that's what you're trying to get.
Right.
And you got plenty of parking for it. I see you're using impervious,
We're
No,
using both
pervious.
impervious and pervious.
right?
Both.
Pavers, so that's a good thing. But the concern is, and I asked at the time about the way it's facing. In other words, your main beautiful building is gonna be facing the backside of our facility, okay? So, I had asked at one point in time, and I went out with your engineer, basically to see if they could turn the building in some other area, so they could see the woods, and not look directly at us. But unfortunately, the way this site is laid out, that's the best they can do on it.
Right.
Now, when we discussed this, we had an agreement, which we got that piece there, and then we talked about the easement in the front, which you're gonna be giving us as well.
Correct.
But there was talk of a building. And when your sister emailed me, I think on Monday, she explained, I guess, this retaining wall. Now, I guess there's possibly a need for a variance, possibly. Now, what I'd like to see, if it's at all possible, is we have vehicles parked there. We've had vehicles parked there for a long, long time, and it's right on the property line. So we would still like to discuss with you at some point in time and the village and find out what the regulations are for that retaining wall to see if it can be increased in size, okay? And then possibly put a roof on it to hide our ugliness to your beauty. So the combination of the two. So I see we have a representative from the village, but not from the planning board. And we'd like you to go back and at least discuss that with even with our town engineer, to take that piece that you're gonna have with the retaining wall, instead of being 4 foot high, increase the height of it and possibly put a roof on it. So that's something we're gonna ask to do, because we can't do a thing with this project even tonight until we hear, or you hear from the DEP authorizing the use of that entranceway. Because we can't, grant you something not knowing that we're gonna get it from them. So I'm gonna be asking, and I know town engineer, I spoke with him earlier today, because we did talk about a building there at one point in time, and I guess you've gone in front of the planning board in the village, and they kind of, I guess you've got a problem with setbacks or whatever.
Correct.
Can you explain what-
Our attorney, we've reviewed it with our attorney, and what his response was, is since we are in the village of Brewster, we've now granted the town of Southeast an easement, use easement onto the property. For us to go back now and put a building on something we've granted an easement is going to cause, he said it would be kind of a paperwork nightmare, because we may not meet the setbacks required for a building behind the town garage.
Well, what we'd like to ask, if it's possible, to go back and explain what we're trying to do. In other words, again, you're having a beautiful building which will increase the tax rolls in the village itself, and we're trying to hide, again, we're a town garage. I mean, our trucks are kept neat, but again, we have piles of rocks, we got, snow plows that are parked there, and we're trying to make your appearance that much better, because you're gonna have a 4-story high building, okay? And as people are looking out, if there was this area that you're gonna provide us with the easement, it's 15 by how long is it, Chris? Doesn't show on here.
No, it's .07 of an acre, it looks like.
Yeah, but it's 15 feet by how long?
22 maybe?
I don't have the scale, it's somewhere over
Okay.
100
It's-
feet a month.
Yeah.
So, we would like to go back and at least ask if that can be done. If it could go 4 foot, I mean,
In the discussion that we had with Tom Fenton, that was asked, there were a few things asked which we have done. The Palmer Road was originally coming directly into the town garage, with our property kind of a left-hand turn off of it. We've proposed actually turning Palmer Road so the approach is leading people more directly into our property without heading into the town garage.
well, we did speak about, the only thing is when he was in my office today and had an opportunity to show him the plans, and thank you for dropping them off this week, I showed him that, and he just wished he had an opportunity to actually see it before whatever, so he might want to make some comments on the way that comes in, but it's not really a super big deal, but he might ask for something a little bit different than what it shows.
Okay, I was under the impression that
He wanted
Tom
something-
Fenton had spoken
He
to
did
Paul
speak.
Lynch at Putnam Engineering to design this.
And did he actually see the plan though?
I'm not certain if he saw it.
Okay, because today he indicated he had not seen that part of it. So it's something that could be worked out. I don't say it's a problem or even a big problem. He was kind of surprised to see the way it was laid out today.
Okay.
Let's see.
We've also added quite a bit of landscaping to both the bioretention area, which is the island that separates our entrance from the town garage parking lot, and we've increased the landscaping along the top of that proposed retaining wall.
Now, one thing we would like to see as well, again, we're concerned about the future. In other words, you're gonna have tenants in there, doctors and whatever, and they're gonna be looking at our town garage. So what we're gonna ask you to possibly do, can you give us a view from each of the floors, okay, from ground level to the 4th level, as you're looking toward our building, with the proposed plantings you're gonna have, to give us an idea of what they're actually gonna see? So we maybe increase the plantings, maybe the trees bigger, can you do that?
Can I say on the planting, because this is a big thing, obviously, for me, I'm not a florist, but this strip is only 7 feet wide, and so we had discussed, I had talked to Chris and Judy about this, they were recommended arborvitae, which the deer eat, but we think we can fence. But if you build the wall up, then you'll have no room for landscaping, would you, or do you still have?
Well,
Well, that's my concern.
the grade, I'm assuming, could come in to the back side of the wall. It wouldn't allow for a wider base on the trees. I guess we could look into some type of an evergreen that would grow tall and straight.
Well, the arborvitae will do that, and they'd still work, you'd just have a back that wasn't full, which wouldn't matter then, because it would be facing the highway garage, or built into the shed, that's all. I just wanted to make sure that 7 feet won't be affected by putting a shed in, if that's what.
Well, it's not gonna be,
because
right now, it's not truly a shed, it's gonna be, and again, this is the recent one, I hadn't seen it until this one came. It's a 4-foot-high retaining wall where our vehicles will park into that 4 foot.
Right.
So basically the question is, how high a retaining, is it 4 foot the maximum they allow before you have to apply for a variance?
I'm not certain what the height requirements are. I know once you get over a certain height of feet, then it's required to have fencing on top,
Yes.
so someone doesn't fall off of it, et cetera.
We're 10 feet, but this will be in Brewster, so I don't know what.
Right. Well, is this something you can look at and then get back to our town engineer with that, if you don't mind?
As far as the view from the different
Well,
floors,
the view we would like to see, the four levels, looking in, and what types of plantings you're gonna have for that, okay? And then how high of a retaining wall will they allow, and then could we put a structure on it? A structure meaning a roof on it, because then that's all we want. We don't want a roof on, not a roof, an enclosure on this side. It's gonna be an open, 3-sided structure, so to speak.
And they do have a planting plan.
I know, but I need to see, they want to see what it's going to look like. I mean,
Okay.
You know, there's 8-footers or 10-footers, and what does it actually look like? Because, you have the grading, 354, and then it goes to 356, to give us an indication of what it is. Because it's questions that's going to be asked by, I know the town engineer said it to me today, and of course, the highway superintendent is concerned about what, people are going to see, and of course.
I mean, we
possible
were
noise.
there first. I mean, they know what they're getting into.
Yeah.
They know what, I mean, it's not really, I don't see.
Okay, let me give you a prime example, which is a big-time issue every time we do something here in town. When you have residential backed up to commercial, constantly a battle, okay? Who came first, chicken or the egg? And alls we ask is that the two sides, the residential and the commercial, work together so it blends in, like going down on North Brewster Road. When you first come in, you got the firehouse, and then there's a real heavy concentration, really quick, of commercial, and then all the residential, and that's probably one of the hardest hit areas when you first come in, and make it gradual. We are there first, yes, and that's what the concern is, that somewhere down
And
the
it's
future.
commercial and commercial, though. That's-
Right, but I think
No.
what people really fear is future friction. I think this is
Yeah.
what Mike fears, like, a perfect example would be the paving of Maple Road. When people moved in to another subdivision, they knew it was going, or some were told it would remain dirt, some were told it wouldn't, but they do want it changed, and we know all that, but the point is, things happen after you move in, even though they were almost set in stone.
But I mean,
Yes,
we don't everything's in the village. It's not up for us as far as planting plans. I mean,
Right.
that's
Well,
a village issue.
Well,
I mean, the views from, that's gonna cost them money to do that. I mean, I don't know if that's, you know what I'm saying? We're here talking about the access on the road. That's basically what we're
but there's,
talking about.
there's more to it with the access. You have to be concerned about, again, I'm speaking for the town highway superintendent who's made concerns and known to us, okay? And the town engineer. They are just things that they're asking for to see. Again, there's no problem. These two people are very nice people, but down the road, the next person who buys that, when there's dust constantly going over into their yard, because our lot is unpaved, okay? And there's gonna be constant dirt. They're gonna say, geez, you know, whatever. We don't know that's gonna happen. I mean, you know, the best of friends are the biggest enemies somewhere down the line, and you just don't know. So we ask the questions up front now. We've asked the questions, address them, and move on.
Yeah, I think I have to agree with Bob to a large extent, though, that what we're now imposing an additional burden, if indeed it is financial or otherwise, trying to be benevolent to you and the unknown next person. But we're talking about an office building, a medical office building. You know, it's not residential. It's not something that I think anyone who's moving in there. I think the concern is more commercial for you.
Well,
And-
no.
And you, as far as, do you want to put a medical building there, and who would you market to, et cetera, that would be something for realtors. But, you know, and I gotta agree with Bob, at the end of the day, if it's gonna put an extra burden on you and your planners, you know, this is something that the village will consider. I'm sure that the village, you know, we have an able person here tonight from the village who, Ms. Pacini, who will, I'm sure, say to the village, this is the concerns of the town. And then, you know, you can take it into account and speak to the commercial people. Do I think there's dust and dirt and all this other stuff? Well, yeah. That's somebody's gonna go in there, they're gonna move in that building and say, I don't know if I want to, or hey, what the heck? But the next person, what are they gonna make issues with us? Is there anticipated issues with us that somebody is now going to say, oh my goodness, we have dirt here, and we're going to say the town's gotta do something about the dirt? I don't know. I
Okay,
mean,
well, you get the banging of, you know, tires being
that's
changed.
commercially,
It's
that's their decision, or whoever's there.
I
I
think-
mean, it's gonna be patently obvious that it's a garage, and there'll be, you know, dirt and dust and what have you, and I don't even know how much there is. You know, I mean, I think, you know, when all is said and done, you know, one of my concerns was just simply the amount of traffic.
Right.
You know, which I think is what we really, and, you know, in all due respect, we should be focused on, which is when the trucks and our plows and whoever
We
is
did
going,
discuss the traffic flow.
and that to me is the issue.
With the town highway superintendent and Tom Fenton, the engineer. What kind of the conclusion they came to was typically the traffic flows for the town garage are different than would be for, say, a medical facility. I believe their hours start somewhere around 7 or so. I believe the offices may be open 9, 10 o'clock, open until 6, if not later in the evening. I believe the town highway employees get out between 3 and 4 p.m. on an average day. You know,
Yes.
snow or something like that is a different story. That's once in a while.
Yeah.
I mean, would there be a sharing of costs for maintaining it? I don't know, that's the kind of
Well, it's-
issue.
Well, there's
It's a town road.
Town road.
Yeah, well,
So we'll
but
It's a
be,
town
there'll be
road.
additional traffic
Right.
on the town road.
right, like any subdivision.
I mean,
But
once-
I do think, and I understand, you know, we don't want to overdo it, and we don't want to burden the applicant, and I voted against the annexation, but I think this will bring good jobs and is a good project, so I'm happy about that. But I do think it is our job to try to look into the future as much as we can and try to avoid possible friction that could come along, because no one wants a Hatfield and McCoy situation. So I think within reason, asking for some of this is appropriate, and I'm not as concerned. I would normally be concerned about the traffic, but I think it's different enough, the hours are different enough where that's not gonna come into play. And I do think after our, I mean, I know this is the village, but after our comprehensive plan and, of make it pretty, and, I think this really will, I think the landscaping plan is good. So-
And one of the things that we did discuss basically since day one, especially with the area where we've been parked on their property for numerous years, and they were gonna do that, we did discuss having a building there, which is now off the table, you know, based on the rules of the village, and that's why, you know, we need something to try to hide it. I mean, that's something that we had agreed on, okay, it's not in writing, but now that's like kind of off the table, not through their fault, and there's an issue, can it be obtained? Right? Did we not discuss that?
We did discuss that. We've, originally, that came out of requesting an access easement because there was pre-existing storage on our property.
And you basically said you would, but after you've got into the process with the village, you can't, in a sense.
That's what we're being advised.
And all I'm asking now is, can we go back and at least ask, you know, what would it take to get that done? Especially on the town's end. Again, you're gonna have a beautiful building. The more we can hide our side, the better. So if it's a 4-foot wall, can it go to 6 foot? Can it be an 8 foot if it needs fencing? I mean, what can we do there? I'm asking you just to ask that question because it was something that was on the table since day one. Just find out,
I
please.
mean, they don't have to put windows on that side of the building. if
But
they
that's
don't
the whole building.
Yeah.
That's the
Wow.
front of the building.
Yeah.
That's the front.
Yeah.
That's what the concern is.
But,
Okay,
well,
one other thing quickly. On, where is it?
But,
Right,
but
right.
just to interrupt real quick, but it's really up to the, New York City DEP.
Yes.
Yeah,
So this may well be a moot point if they say you can't do it then. They won't grant the permit, I guess.
The easement over the.
Correct.
The easement, right. So, I mean, really, I guess we should.
well, let's plan on being positive. Why not?
Okay, no, I know, but I'm just saying, I mean,
Yep.
so we can go through all that, but if they say no, it's no.
Just one question on the plan here, New York State DEC freshwater. It says Doug Cogler, May 2103, should that have been 2013? Right here, right here, Chris, you see right in this area?
Oh, yeah, it's
Yes.
just a typo.
Okay, 2013, right?
Correct.
Okay. Okay. Anyone else with any more questions? Okay, we anticipate, if you could check on that part about the front there, how high that wall could possibly be,
Yes.
if it requires a variance, what would be required? You know, we can make a plea to the village as to why, and if you can apply for variance, and if they say no, then we'll have to deal with whatever. But it'd be helpful to have that covered because of the way the parks. Okay?
We will look into that.
We will, once you hear from the DEP, that's when you come back to us next. We can't do anything until they say yay, and then we'll bring it back in front of this board.
Very good.
Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, number 2 is public hearing notice requirements for condominiums. If you remember back, probably about 2 years ago, we had notification for co-ops and for condominiums. We got the co-ops taken care of, but some of the condominium owners had some concerns about the notification, and one person said, "I want my letter." So the other day, when I was in the assessor's office, believe it or not, I think we had 2 in 2 days that came in. One lived in Brewster Heights, and as you know, in Brewster Heights, they lived in the actual house portion of Brewster Heights, and right next door is the condominiums, Eagles Ridge. And there was another gentleman that came in that was next to a condominium complex as well. He wanted to put up a fence for his autistic daughter, and no problem to it. The only thing is he lived next door to the condominium, and I believe he had to notify as many as 84 property owners. 84 property owners is $6.74 is an awful lot of money. They could have paid for the fence, or close there too. So when I was there, Colleen, who works in Lori's office, made a suggestion. People think I don't listen, but I do. You know, if you have a good suggestion, I jump on it, right, Lynn?
That's correct, Tom.
Any rate, at $6.74 each. So what I thought I'd bring to the board this evening is we will possibly kill 2 birds with 1 stone. We can stay with the intent of the law and notify the condominium association with a registered letter, 1, okay? Now with the equipment that we have in our assessor's office, it can identify everyone within 100 feet or 500 feet, whatever the requirement of it, that they can tell who actually is within that. Now, this condominium, you might be here in that condominium, I might be here, and I'm not within that 100 or 500 feet. we let them send a letter to everybody within the distance. So the condominium association would send a letter to them, making them aware that, you know, such and such is gonna put up a fence, whatever, post it on whatever they can to let their people know, and in turn, the person that's making the application will actually send out a letter to each one of those individual owners. That would save a lot of money.
And I agree with this. I think the only thing we would need, don't we want proof that they did mail? We get the green and whites right now back, but we would want proof that they did mail to.
There is
do you
something
do it?
called proof of mailing from the post office, which they just stamp that they,
And how much does that cost?
it's only like maybe $1
What-
or
what's so
something. It's
per-
not-
There's also another vehicle, we can, it's in our application, it's called an affidavit of mailing.
Okay.
So they make actually a sworn statement
Okay.
that these were mailed to those addresses. They file it anyway. I think that's the better way to go. But if the post office gives proof of mailing, that's a good thing too.
I'll stop.
How much do
Okay,
they
'cause
charge for that?
yeah, I mean, I would like to save people money, so if the affidavit, whatever works, I just think we would want proof of mailing when a lot of, you know, it could be a problem even with the green and whites.
Okay, so what,
I'm sorry, Will, I mean, this would be legal?
no, we have to have a public hearing first.
Well,
No, I understand that, but I mean, there's like state law or anything
Well,
that says you have
I'm
to?
doing some research on that. I'm not even sure that it requires a certified mailing. It's just that our code has always required certified mailing.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll check on that. Let's see, we don't have enough time for the next meeting, so I would set the public hearing. Michelle, what's the next one after the first one in May?
I don't have
No,
my
we didn't set
calendar.
it yet.
I-
I'll tell you right now.
Set now? Fifth.
May 5th, yeah.
May 5th.
Cinco de
So-
Mayo.
Okay, I'm gonna make a motion to waive the rules to set a public hearing. So
No, I'm fine with
I'm
that.
waiving the rules?
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I make a motion to set the public hearing for this for May 5th, and that time you'll find out the mailing, and
Yeah.
we'll do whatever research is necessary. So we'll set a public hearing for May 5th for that aspect of it, okay? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next is rental occupancy fee schedule. We've had a few people come to myself and to the building inspector concerning, as you know, if you have an apartment house, there's required inspections, whatever. And Michael called me the other day, he had a person come in, it was, you know, he said, you know, he thinks that we could be a little fairer in our fees, and I'm all for fairness. And Michael has suggested in the wording, in the same structure, be removed from the fee schedule, and that will satisfy what he needs to make it a little more fair to these people that have multiple units. And I don't have a problem with that. Do you understand what we plan to do there? So in the fee schedule, I have Michael's, here, as we discussed, the current fee schedule charges $150 per unit up to 4, and $100 per additional unit in the same structure. Where a property owner has more than 4 rental units located in multiple structures, they are not provided with the reduced fee reflected, since the fee schedule indicates in the same structure. For example, where a property owner maintains 4 buildings with 4 rental units, the fee would be $2,400. If the buildings were connected, the fee would be $1,600. The intent of the fee structure appears to seek to provide an economy of scale where a greater number of units are located on the property. Due to the current language, some property owners are paying more than others due to the fee schedule language. If the wording "in the same structure" is removed from the fee schedule, property owners with more than 4 rental units will receive the lower fee cost regardless of whether the units are in the same building. And I have no problem with it. As much as I like money, it's the wrong thing to do, and this could be
And it's fine with Michael if the properties aren't on the same property, like he has to go around town inspecting.
Oh,
them?
but they are. No, that's,
They would have to be on the same lot.
Same.
Oh, same law,
Yeah.
okay, so, okay,
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just not in the same structure,
okay,
okay?
yep.
I don't have to give you an example. There are examples in town. There's probably at least 2 people
No, I
who come to me
understand that,
with
but say somebody owned 4 units here, and then across town had.
Nope.
Okay, that's all I wanted to
it.
clarify.
4 units separate. But if
Okay.
they're in the same
Same. On the same
It's-
property.
Right now it says same structure, they're on the same property, but not in the same
So
structure.
now it would just indicate it would be the same property.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we're just gonna remove the words "in the same structure."
Okay.
And it works. So I'm gonna bring that forward to the next meeting, if everyone agrees with that?
Yeah.
Okay?
It's an amendment to the fee schedule, or is it amendment to the?
The fee schedule.
It's not amendment to the code
Code?
itself?
No, it's in the fee schedule. We kept the fee schedule separate, so we don't have to keep going back and changing the code.
Make sure that the language reads that it's on the same lot.
Yeah, on the same lot, it does have to say that.
It will say that.
Okay.
Okay. I'll work with Michael on it. He suggested, again, if you just remove "in same structure," it resolves the issue. So I'll put that on for the next agenda as well. Okay, make a motion now to go into the regular meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, let's see. Now therefore be resolved that the town board of the town of Southeast does hereby accept the recommendation of its professional advisors and authorizes the town attorney to execute a stipulation of settlement, consent judgment, and order of consent in accordance with said recommendation for the following. The petitioner, Kojak's Construction, tax ID 57.2-29, year 2013, assessment 3,185,000, settled 3,185,000. 2014, assessment 3,185,000, settled assessment 2,700,000. 2015, assessment 3,185,000, settled assessment 2.6 million. And be further resolved that the town attorney is hereby authorized and directed to execute any and all stipulations, consent orders, or other documents necessary to reflect the foregoing settlements. So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
2, update the employee handbook on longevity. We discussed this last time. Basically, anyone in management levels with the 5th year of employment would get $750. At the 10th year, they would get $1,250. The 15th year, $2,000, and the 20th year, $2,500. As you know, most management employees unfortunately remain stagnant with just the normal, the CPI or whatever the contract is, and the other CSE and Teamsters have scales of rise, and this will keep them at least in pace with them as they move up. So move for discussion.
I'll second.
Discussion.
Yep.
Is this gonna be, put into their regular paycheck, or do they get a separate check?
No, it becomes part of their pay,
It's just
Yep,
included
yes.
into the, okay.
yes. Anyone else? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, resolution amend the fee schedule to allow for food trucks, our favorite. Okay,
I think you should let Bob read this.
oh, you want to read that? He didn't bring his glasses.
That's all right, I could, no, you can read it, Tom, you do.
Oh, resolved that the supervisor and the town clerk be and hereby are authorized to make such modifications to the 2016 town fee schedule to implement the amendments to the town code relating to issuance of permits for food truck vendors and as annexed hereto and made part thereof. And further resolved that the town clerk be and hereby is authorized and directed to publish the amended fee schedule on the town's website, and B, circulate such amended schedule to affected town departments. And basically what we have is, I'll read it off quickly, a food truck for permit with veterans that provide a DD 214 free. Food truck permit calendar year for 1 calendar year, January 1st to 12/31, $500. Food truck permits calendar year issued after June 30th. So if you come in for your permit on July 1st, you would pay $250 till the end of the year. Food truck permit secondary, that's if you want a permit for municipal or town-owned property per day, would be $20. Food truck permit secondary municipal town property by the month, it would be $100. Food truck permit violators be per offense, maximum $100 before you'd end up losing your license for a minimum of a year. And that's what we all had, and that's now in this here, then we don't have to actually change the actual local law.
And we
So-
have to correct the word, spelling on calendar.
Calendar, right.
Time out, where is that?
Everywhere.
Yeah.
It's calendar year, the two
Yeah.
calendar years, it's CALENDA.
You know what, I have to go into my, I gotta find out what that word means when you spell it. Every time I do calendar, it comes up different. Okay, I will change
Maybe it
that.
means colander.
Yeah, that's what I always think.
Really?
No, that would be an.
I have no idea.
No, that'd be DER, I think.
Okay, I will change that. Other than that, is there any other comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Need a second.
Pardon?
A second.
Who was-
Linda, the second. Linda, okay, thank you.
Okay, we're to the point of the meeting for public comment. Pardon? I can't hear. Are we not doing the sick time resolution? No, it's not on the agenda. There was no need, we passed that a while back, and it goes in the handbook automatically. I thought we had a resolution specifically for that, but we do not. Okay. Town board?
I have, as usual, I just want to remind everyone about our cleanup weekend, which is April 16th and 17th, that's Saturday and Sunday. For anyone who would like to pick up bags and supplies early, they can go to the Highway Department. You should call first, 279-2141. We're working with the Village of Brewster. Their cleanup day is going to be that Sunday. So I will be downtown, and others will be downtown handing out supplies from 8 to 12. And I know there is Brewster Little League is that Saturday at 10 a.m. So if you're coming in, I would be patient then because of the parade. But we really need a big push for cleanup, and I've got a lot of positive feedback. And I think it'll be in some newspapers, which is great. So, and we do have the poster, our contest with the schools too, and that'll be on view in the lobby down at Studio around the corner.
And when are you giving out those awards?
We will give those out in May,
May 5th?
probably.
Or whatever?
Yeah, I'll let you
First?
know.
Okay.
Yeah,
Give me
so,
that.
and I would like to thank Irene Othmer because she is terrific every year at putting this together for us, and the artwork really is great. So everyone, please go out and clean up the town and organize your neighborhoods because it's a mess. So, thank you.
And there's some woman, I saw the email, she does it on her own, she
Yeah.
cleans up, it's very nice. Does
She even
live in-
apologized, she's bugging us so much. I said, don't apologize,
Yeah.
keep doing it.
Yeah, well, I think Mike Bruin has been very accommodating, our highway superintendent, and I think, I mean, we really want to push for this weekend. It really helps him to be able to collect everything right afterwards, but I think he's been very willing to extend this if people get motivated enough and really want to help out. So I'd like to thank Mike for that. We really need to clean the town up before. Well, now we're going to have probably more snow and nothing will leaf out. But anyhow, thanks in advance to anyone who can help out with this.
There are many people that do clean up in front of their roads, in front of their homes, and all you have to do is notify the town, like that Monday morning or that weekend before, and we will come out on Monday mornings and pick up whatever you picked up over the weekend. And this one lady was very nice, she's done it a couple times, she apologized, you're not bothering us, believe me, because you're helping us clean it up. We can't get out there and do the same job that some of these people take their time to do, and we do really appreciate it. So just contact the highway department that you picked up over the weekend, identify where the bags are, and we will go pick them up. In a couple weeks, I'm gonna have a nice little video here. They dumped again at our clothing bin, and I don't wanna close down the clothing bin. We're gonna get a plate reader pretty soon, and we're gonna get you. I'm telling you, I'm tired of you dumping garbage here. It was like a baby thing. The last time it was an Xbox, and, you know, it's just a mess. And it encourages other people, you know, when you go by and you see a wash machine thrown on the side of the road, next guy comes down the road, or gal, they do the same thing. So it's not good, and we're getting tired of it. And that's, you know, we're getting a lot of complaints from people about the conditions of the roads as far as, you know, the cleanliness, but what can we do? I mean, you know, this woman who was out there cleaning up, and, you know.
And Milltown Road is, they're great, because that's a tough road to clean. And I know Maple and My Way, we pick up all the time, so I'm really grateful for the people who pick up year-round. It really helps.
And on Simpson Road, you're gonna ask the sheriff's patrol to help that
I
particular
don't
thing?
know, it might be me, so you wouldn't want the sheriff there.
Well, we don't want you to run
don't
over either.
You don't want me to run over?
Nah,
Okay, well,
nah.
anyhow, we will tackle that, because that road is a
But that does,
mess.
I would strongly suggest, because someone has been killed there once
Right.
before, that you ask them to at least, you know, help us out for an hour or so, whatever it may take, as they're cleaning the road. That's a very difficult road, and it's one of the dirty ones in town, because
Yes.
it is so dangerous.
It's a mess.
Okay, anyone else?
Yeah, just, Lynn had already mentioned it, but the Little League opening day is Saturday, April 16th at 10 a.m. at Markel Park. There's a parade. It's very nice. It's great. Support the Little League, whether your children are involved, you're involved or not, but that's April 16th, 10 a.m. at Markel Park.
Right. It is, it's a lot of fun, so.
Okay, and I have one other public service announcement as well, and this has been asked for by the Recreation Department, about a camp fair. Ever wanted to know what was available for your children to do in the area? Camps, sports, where to get music lessons, clubs, volunteer opportunities? Southeast Recreation is hosting a camp fair, has invited area businesses, clubs, and associations to come together in one place so that you can explore what's out there that might interest your children. We feel that it is important our residents know that all our community has to offer to enhance your child's extracurricular activities. For more information, contact the Southeast Recreation at 279-3915 or via email recreation@southeast-ny.gov. Please join us. Location be Lakeview Manor, 215 Shore Drive, Brewster, New York. It'll be on Wednesday, May 4th, 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. And they're looking forward to as many participants as possible. And we have a lot of people say, what's available for our children? This fair will tell you exactly what it is. Thank you. Anyone else?
Just want to mention, as you know, the fireworks are privately funded. So we're having a fundraiser this year at the Italian American Club on Sunday, April 17th, from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. It'll be $45. It includes a show. We have Echoes of Sinatra. Should be a great show, along with dinner. And if anybody's interested in joining us, we're asking the same thing. Give Patty a call at 279-3915 in Recreation. And hopefully we'd have a lot of people come attend and, help us out with raising more money this year for the fireworks. Thank you.
And this year, any donations you make to the fireworks will be tax deductible, unlike previous years.
And Edwin, when would the fireworks be?
July 2nd.
July 2nd, which is
Saturday, July 2nd.
Very good.
Okay.
And it's actually gonna be a half hour this year to the fireworks, so it'll be twice as long.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion. We close tonight's meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all for
Thank
coming.
you.